So, Dustin Poirier versus Max Holloway 3 was announced as the main event of UFC 318, with Holloway defending his BMF belt, and it is Poirier's retirement fight. And it has been met with a lot of criticism, especially about, the matchup, the fact that it's a main event, the fact that the BMF's belt is on the line. But I actually think it's an excellent matchup, and I think it was the right decision. But I'm going to break down why I think it was the right decision because there's a lot of different moving parts in the lightweight division right now. So let's just go and break it all down. So, in terms of the matchup, right, a lot of people wanted to see either Dustin Poirier versus an Ilia Topuria, which is fair enough. That's an excellent matchup. I would love that fight. But the thing is, it is Poirier's retirement fight. He's retiring either way. If he goes and beats Topuria and retires, you've essentially just killed the Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria super fight, and you can't have Poirier then go into a title fight with that hype from beating Topuria because he's just retired. If Oliveira were to beat Topuria and then fight Makhachev, he has the hype that Topuria brought, but with Poirier, it just goes away. Again, excellent fight. Dustin extended out interest. He was, he wanted to fight Topuria. But the UFC shut that down because they were trying to get Topuria in a title fight, and there was already a contender in Oliveira or Ahmed Sayukin or even Justin Gaethje, who's going towards the title, where it seems that Poirier is going in the opposite direction, which is fine. But then there's Poirier versus Justin Gaethje 3, the trilogy. They're 1-1. Makes quite a lot of sense. Poirier also wanted this matchup, but again, Gaethje is coming off of a win, so his trajectory is towards the title, especially because he hasn't lost to Makhachev, and he could also fight Topuria. But again, that's more intriguing because he hasn't fought Makhachev, and again, his direction is towards the title. Gaethje isn't going to steer backwards because Gaethje's getting towards the end of his career as well, so he doesn't want to slow down. The only difference is Poirier's fought Makhachev and it's lost, so he knows that he's not getting the title. Gaethje hasn't fought Makhachev yet, so that's still an option for him. So he's not going to fight backwards. But Arman Sayukin, they could have done that matchup, but it's not a headliner pay-per-view type of fight, and I don't think they would trust Arman to have a large-scale fight like that and to show up after everything. And also, I believe they both train at ATT as well. So that's why they would sort of steer away from the matchup as well. Then there's not Gaethje, Poirier versus Dan Hooker 2. Good, but sort of Poirier's already beaten him, and Hooker again is in the trajectory of getting big matchups, and you can just get more exciting fights. It's not one that I think needs to happen again. I think a lot of the appeal with Poirier versus Hooker is Hooker gassing out after the first two rounds, and that it was in the apex with no sound. So I think it would just be a rematch that wouldn't deliver as much. Now with Holloway, this is really interesting because Holloway has proven himself at lightweight, but he's coming off of a loss to Topuria. That and Topuria has moved up to lightweight. So Holloway is way out of the title picture. He 110% needs a good win. If he beats Poirier, I don't think he will get a title shot. I think he'll have to beat probably an Oliveira or someone else to get a title shot. But Holloway's in a position where he needs a win to cement himself at lightweight, at least right now, because Topuria is coming up. So his trajectory he isn't already on track to the title, right? He's sort of at a position where, like, okay, he needs a win. And Poirier is right there next to him in the rankings. It's an opportunity for him to get one back over Poirier. Max Holloway is a reputable name. Aside from like Arman Sayukin, he can hold up a pay-per-view as well. And again, will be an excellent fight. And even though Poirier is 2-0 over Holloway, I think Holloway will win this fight, and I think it's because in their second fight, it was very noticeable that one, it was on short notice, so Holloway didn't have the time to bulk up to lightweight. So you could see that there was just a big difference in size and strength. And, Holloway would get rocked by Poirier, because Poirier was so much bigger and had cleaner punches at the time. But when Holloway landed big shots, they wouldn't do anything. And in Holloway's last few fights, particularly against, TKZ and Gaethje, right, he showed excellent stopping power, just really, really good punching power and the speed to go along with it. But he looked in much better shape against Gaethje than he did against Poirier in their rematch. Also, I think Holloway played into Poirier's game way too much in the second fight. Because after or when Holloway fought Poirier for the second time, he was coming off of a win over Brian Ortega, where he just boxed the face off of him. And I think Holloway got a bit too punch happy, right? He was too happy just boxing in a fight. And you saw in his fight with Calvin Kattar and then his fight with Gaethje, he approached those fights, more particularly Gaethje, he approached that fight a lot differently. He was on his bike more, he moved a lot more, he wasn't staying in place, he was picking in kicks, knee stomps, body kicks, knees, head kicks, spinning back kicks. He was using all of the weapons in conjunction with his punches, right? He mixed up the weapons a lot more. And again, Holloway just tried to box with Poirier in the second fight and then plays into Poirier's game. I think Holloway realizes that he can't just be a boxer, and I think he realized that, shortly after fighting Poirier. I think he realized that when he had the rematch with Volkanovski, and I think that he is at a point in his career where he can still make meaningful adjustments in his style and in his game, whereas Poirier's Poirier. He's not going to change up. He's not going to show any ridiculously new wrinkles in his game, but I think Holloway has the more potential to make improvements in this fight. And also, right, yes, Holloway is coming off of a knockout loss, but Poirier hasn't fought for over a year by the time this fight comes around. And he would have been coming off some pretty serious injuries, because if you watch that fight with Makhachev and you listen to Poirier between the corners, he mentions his rib being broken, or at least something being detached, his rib, his knee being busted, and his nose being broken, right? And each of those injuries on their own, they're kind of okay, but that's a lot of damage in one fight. And again, Poirier isn't a guy that doesn't take a lot of damage. Holloway takes a lot of punches to the face, but you never really see Holloway taking damage, like being injured, right? Poirier is kind of at that point now where I think his body's starting to give way a little bit easier. And I think coming off of a bunch of injuries against someone who's shown the stopping power at lightweight in Holloway, I think Holloway will, really look good in this matchup. And I think it'll be a very, very good fight for him to properly cement himself at lightweight, with a solid ranking and just to settle in division. Because he fought Gaethje kind of a one-off thing, but I think Holloway's going to really set himself into the division now, and I think it's going to be an excellent fight. I think it'll go 5 rounds. I don't think Holloway will finish Poirier. I think he's a bit too defensively responsible with the shoulder rolling for that to happen. I think Gaethje was kind of perfect for Holloway to score a knockout, but it'll be a great fight nonetheless. And I think at this point, the BMF belt doesn't matter. It's a 5 round fight, main eventing. It can absolutely main event a pay-per-view, belt or not, so it doesn't really matter. It's going to be a sick fight, regardless. I'm going to be very happy about it. I'm going to be sad either way, because either Holloway loses or Poirier loses. It's a difficult position with a guy that's sort of high up in the division, but he's going to retire. It's a bit hard to match him up, so I understand why the UFC's taken their time and had some difficulty matching up. But I honestly think it's a great matchup, and I cannot wait for it, honestly. So yeah, I just wanted to discuss the matchup because I saw a lot of different opinions on it, and again, it's a big fight. It's Poirier's retirement, so I wanted to discuss it. But anyway, guys, you guys know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share your thoughts on the matchup and anything you want down in the comments below, and see ya.